Okay, there is one more thing we have to do. We have our little character here who now can walk down and up and sideways and so on, but he doesn't have an idle state, right? He's got a couple of weird things going on, right? He keeps walking in that same direction and walking in that same direction and so on, and also does this other weird thing where if we try to walk to the left and then stop, he kind of flips back in the other direction, which is slightly odd as well. So let's see if we can't fix these things. Now, first off, we don't have an idle state. That's kind of the main problem here. So what if we created let's create an idle animation. Right, so we'll click on the hero, and we see the hero's animations down here: walk down, walk side, walk up. We'll just go ahead and say create a new clip if we want. You know what? What if we don't even create a new clip? What if we just create a new state? We create an empty state, and we say, all right, we want to transition to this state. When would we want to transition to this state? What should we even call this state? It's kind of an interesting thing. Let's call this the idle state. Okay. So in this idle state here, how are we going to get there? Well, we can't preview it because it doesn't have any motion. We can't transition to it because it doesn't have any values yet, conditions. So let's go ahead and add a condition or two. So if y velocity is greater than negative 0.05, okay, and y velocity is less than 0.05, and let's see, x velocity, we can say x velocity is less than 0.05 because x velocity is in fact a magnitude, right? Because x can only be, we don't have a left and right, we just have a side motion. So let's see what happens. We've created that. We've created some transitions, some conditions here for that. So let's see what happens. Sure enough, we can walk and we get to a certain point where we let go, it stops. Now you'll notice when we let go, it does sort of flip back to this default animation, or the default image there. So one thing we want to do is go to our idle and say that idle should not write defaults. So we'll say 0. Okay, we'll undo that. And now it will leave it wherever it stopped, which is pretty good. Now, we do have the option, we could actually put an animation on there. So instead of having this just empty state, we could have had another default state. But let's leave it like that for now. Let's solve this next weird problem, which is I press left A, and I let go, and it snaps back to the right. Now, why is that? Well, that's a script problem. If you remember, the script for hero is where our flipping actually happened. And you'll notice it said, okay, get component flip it if velocity is less than 0 here. So what we should actually say is to make sure that it is greater than, that it has some magnitude, right? So we could do this. We could say if, and we'll just say this. I'm lazy, I want to cut and paste. Dot magnitude is greater than, greater than 0.05. Then we go ahead and change it. Okay. So if it doesn't change, if there is no magnitude, it won't bother to change it. So if it momentarily becomes 0, it shouldn't bother to change it, I think. Let's go ahead and try that. There, we worked. So we can move left, and we kind of stop sort of mid-stride. Maybe that's okay. Maybe you like that. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Say you wanted to stop on a particular frame. What would be the easiest way to do that? Well, for one thing, you could just come in here and say, well, where is the sprite? Where is the sprite for that? And we left the sprite at this kind of odd walking sideways sprite here. So we could, let's see, is that where we wind up if we set this one to right defaults? Yeah, I guess it does. So if we like that one, that would be okay. I don't like that one too much though. I think the one I like is a straight up kind of front view, which is this one. Hey, wait a minute. Okay, it did stop on walk down. No, where did it go? Walk side. That was the one that it wound up staying on. Interesting. I wasn't quite prepared for that. So right defaults. So that's going to set these both to 0. And in that case, well, I guess that's what's going to happen. It's going to set these to 0, and then not in a good state. So what maybe we should do is, let's see, the avatar here. Can we set an avatar? You know, I've never used the avatar. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to say that hero walk front. Right, that's is that one? Or let's see, even hero idle back, no. Hero idle front. That seems like a good one to have. And let's put that. Nope, that does not work as the avatar. Let's put that there. Oh, that is working. Was I confused before? Very well could be. Yeah, because it's substituting in. When we reset, that's where it goes. I'm not quite sure what I did wrong. So, okay, because this idle now is set to right defaults, it's doing the right thing. All right, right defaults, it's going to do the right thing here. Oh, I see. Maybe it didn't do that because I hadn't restarted. There we go. All right, so now we have a reasonable idle. It's sort of like when we stop moving, it kind of flips around, and just gets reasonable. I like having to do that. You certainly could have different states in here that would be a transition from walk side, walk up, walk down to idle, and then have a particular idle state for sideways, up, down, and so on. I'll leave that as an exercise.